Welcome back to Modern Day Disciples.
AKA MDD, the podcast where we hear real stories from modern day disciples.
My name is Kevin Bernaga. I'm the youth minister at St. Francis of Assisi Parish in San Jose, California.
And my name is Ana Fuentes. I'm the youth minister at St. Anthony Parish in San Jose, California.
What's up, dude?
Dude, was it season 3?
Episode 2.
Let's go.
Episode 2 now, which is pretty crazy.
If you guys aren't, go to our YouTube. We have a YouTube.
We have a YouTube, MDD Media.
MDD Media, like and subscribe and watch us and watch our guests.
If you're just listening on Spotify.
Yeah, you can finish the episode, but then go watch on YouTube.
Go watch it out.
Comment down below.
Our guests look great, by the way. So you definitely want to tune in.
Oh, we said they.
Oh.
They?
Is that giving something away?
A couple of people?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Maybe some best friends?
What? We'll see. We'll have to watch and see.
Watch and see.
So Anna, what's new? It's been a few weeks since we let the first episode go.
Our first episode, dude.
Has anything happened? Any highs, lows?
Let's see. Well, we both, I don't know if you're going to talk about this, but we both got vaccinated. Our first dose.
Our first dose of vaccination.
So I went to Oakland Coliseum. I got the Pfizer dose. Nice. I was so excited. The experience.
Were you nervous going in?
I was so nervous. I don't do
same.
needles. I'm not a fan of shots. I get very anxious. I think it's gonna hurt. I think I'm gonna faint. And it was so quick. Like the drive-through they had. Mm-hmm. The lady who gave me my shot, she was actually wearing these like oversized sunglasses.
Yeah.
And they said like happy birthday or something on them. And I was like, oh my goodness, is it your birthday? She's like, it is. And I was like, happy birthday. She was like, you made my day. I was like, you made my day. And
awesome.
then she gave me the shot. She gave me the dose. And I was like, is that it? She was like, that's it, boo. I was like, what? It was so quick. And it was painless. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I know there's been a lot of talk in Catholic media about the vaccinations, and I think what needs to be affirmed is that getting vaccinated is caring for your neighbors, caring for one another, and really loving your neighbor, because we don't do it to only protect ourselves, we do it to protect those around us.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I was literally, when I got onto the freeway, I was yelling with joy, alone in my car, but I was yelling with joy because it felt like this shift.
Yeah.
It felt like this shift between like we've heard it before, but some have said that like when we entered Lent last year, it's almost as if we never left Lent. And this shift is a glimmer of hope. And no, not everything's back to normal. And of course we lost many along the way, and we don't want to make light of that. But at the same time, this shift feels like we have hope for the first time in a while.
It's a new turn, and it's just been so we're tired of it, man.
Yeah.
Like it's like that at that point where it's like we're turning around and we're actually making our way back to kind of what it's obviously not going to be exactly the same for a while, but it's a step closer to normal.
Yeah, so
quote unquote.
I think I would just say my high has been getting vaccinated, and I have my second dose.
Nice.
When this airs, I will have had my second dose, and I might be feeling some symptoms. But I'm very excited. That will be tomorrow. And my parents got their second dose yesterday.
Awesome.
And I'm just very grateful that those who I love and those close to me are getting vaccinated. It's
Most
really
definitely.
Cool. What about you, dude?
Well, just because we're on that, just as a PSA. April 15th is when every adult in California can get their vaccine.
Not sponsored.
Sign up. Just get it. Do it because we all love each other.
We all love each other, and it's definitely necessary. So they're like concert tickets. Click fast. I would say just some advice if you're trying to schedule a vaccine appointment is to just check constantly if you can. Just refresh. Come back a couple hours later, because the way it works, the system is a little, messed up here and there, which makes sense. There's lots of people trying to get vaccinated. Just keep trying, because it's absolutely worth it.
Exactly, absolutely. That's a great one.
Yeah.
Man.
What have you got going on?
Actually, my highlight, I guess, of the past few weeks has actually been today. I had one of my old. She's a young adult now, but youth. Her
They're always youth.
They're always youth in my heart. But Julianne, she goes to school in San Diego now. She came up for her break, and she hit me up. She texted me and said, "Hey, are you free for some coffee or to just catch up?" And I said, "Yes, absolutely." Like when?
Of course, I'll make time.
Exactly. And so I think that was my highlight, just because I stepped out of the office this morning and we just grabbed coffee and talked, and for a good maybe like few hours. And it was just what I was telling some friends was this, it felt like my job again. in a sense, not in the best way possible. Just because, as a youth minister in COVID times, you have to take on more responsibility, whether it's AV tech. I know you've been doing some of the live streaming for masses at St. Anthony's. I've been doing it as well.
I want to give credit where credit's due.
Used to. Yes, gotcha. But it was awesome being able to talk to somebody that's, of course, an adult now, but will always be a youth in my eyes. And, just be able to see her and catch up and kind of have that relational ministry again, in a sense. And so it was like a breath of fresh air. But it was definitely a highlight, and I hope to, as COVID vaccines keep coming out and more people get vaccinated, hopefully we can fellowship again in that way.
Absolutely.
Right. So,
and I don't want to make it a whole other highlight, but that reminded me of something, is that what I think, and we talked about this before, but like during this time, I think it's been, we've noticed how important it is to spend time with our loved ones, and to see people is such a treasure, something that we didn't acknowledge before. And
absolutely.
This past weekend, my brother and sister-in-law, they came up from Bakersfield and they stayed with me. And then my other brother lives in San Jose, and so 3 out of 4 siblings, including myself, me and my brothers, got to just hang out in my backyard. And I don't think we've ever just really hung out, the 3 of us, without like my parents or my sister or being in Bakersfield for like a holiday or something. And it was just really nice to just cherish that time with my family. And I think if COVID has taught us anything, it's to just really cherish that time with our loved ones.
Oh, absolutely.
Even our youth, those that we don't see anymore.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right.
That's
so
awesome.
shall we get into it?
Yes.
We're not gonna pray before our intro. There's a certain reason. You'll see why
in about 15 seconds.
For the first time ever, our guests are gonna open us in prayer. You want to do the honors?
Yeah. Drop that beat though. And we're back with season 3, episode 2.
Let's go. This is very exciting. This is the first time we are recording in a chapel, a church itself.
That's not St. Francis.
That's not St. Francis. We are actually in the building itself. And this is also another first. This is the first time recording with, how should we say this? A couple priests. Couple holy men of God. Couple holy men of God. they're blushing over there. So officially introducing Father Francis Kalaw from St. Catherine of Alexandria in Morgan Hill,
and Father Johannes Busch from St. Mary's Gilroy.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
It's good to have you.
Thank you so much. Welcome Anna and Kevin to St. Catherine's.
Yeah, thank you for welcoming us.
We're not they don't see where we are right now, but we're actually at St. Catherine. So welcome to the South County. So here we are, the South County priest. Actually, the
most south, I think, right?
Yes,
Morgan Hill and Gilroy.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Thank you for welcoming us.
But no, Father Francis is right. You can't see behind these black curtains, but
well, yeah,
have a whole
I didn't
church
explain that, but the altar is right behind us.
It's right behind us. Our Lord is right here. So
yes.
It's pretty awesome.
So just a little bit about them before they open us in prayer.
Ooh. Their faces right now are like, what?
So Father Francis has been doing ministry since 2013. He's been doing 8 years of ministry, and he has been a priest for 3 years. And he has spent all that time doing it at St. Cat's in Morgan Hill.
Yep. And Father Johannes, on the other hand, has been doing ministry for 5 years now. 5 years, 3 years of it being a priest, being clergy at St. Mary's Gilroy Parish.
And the other 2 years were actually in Germany.
Whoa.
So we are going global.
We're going
global.
If you're watching from Germany.
Hi. So, fathers, would you mind opening us in prayer, if you don't mind?
Sure. So let's begin in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Amen.
Lord God, we give you thanks for another beautiful day. We give you thanks for the many blessings which you have bestowed on us on this day. We give you thanks for this opportunity to talk about our faith, to talk about our relationship with you, and be here with other Christians. And we ask you to bless our meeting, to send your Holy Spirit to fill our words with your wisdom. We ask this through Christ our Lord.
Amen.
Amen.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
I will say it hits different getting prayed with the priest
With
on
clergy,
that podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
So to give you guys a little intro on who these wonderful men are, Father Francis, we heard you have a TikTok.
Is that true?
Before I had one, but I since deleted it.
Oh,
Yo,
So
you
I gave it up for
Lent?
last year.
gotcha.
And then never took it up again?
Yeah, no. When I got into other hobbies, I just forgotten about TikTok.
Okay.
Oh, share with us a few of your hobbies.
Oh, okay. So the biggest thing now, like many of the people now who are into biking, I got into cycling. Actually,
nice.
even before the pandemic, I did it on and off.
Mm-hmm.
But when the pandemic hit, I did it like 3-4 times a week.
Nice.
Awesome.
Did I just say that? My pastor will say,
Is that where
I'm
you're
not
at?
working. I'm mostly biking. But I actually got a indoor trainer, so if I can go outside, I do it at home.
Okay.
At night or in the morning. So 3-4 times a week.
Have you ever thought about doing a century?
Oh yes, actually that's my goal. So I'm looking into doing that this July.
Oh,
So-
which century
So
are you doing?
so maybe you can tell them about what a century is.
Yeah, so the only reason I know about this is my brothers and my dad have been into cycling
I don't
forever.
even know what a century is.
A century is a 100-mile bike ride,
Oh.
which is absolutely wild. My dad as well as my brothers have done the one in Big Sur. I think it starts a little more Southern California, maybe around Slow area, but it goes up to Big Sur and loops back. And I mean, 100 miles on a bike is no joke.
That's true.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So we'll see. I've been training, so I'm not sure if I can get there. But actually, in Europe, where Father Johannes is from, our century is nothing compared to their century because it's
Really?
in kilometers.
Oh.
So it's farther. So we're like,
So you're saying that Father Johannes can do it easy?
oh yeah, easy.
He'll join you. Gotcha. And so, speaking of Father Johannes, so we know that you're originally from Germany. You came
Right.
from Germany. And so what was the transition like coming to the States, coming to the U.S.? Was it difficult? Was it?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I had been visiting the Bay Area a couple of times.
Okay.
So I knew what I was getting myself into, but being on vacation somewhere and actually living somewhere is pretty different.
Oh,
So
most definitely.
it was amazing to get to know all the different people, to get to know a new style of life, new cultures, and new parishes and people, obviously. But then on the other hand, there's also a lot of things that you miss from your country, the people, your family. So it's food. So it's a bit both.
What's your favorite food that you miss from Germany? That you're
I
like,
would
this is.
say,
I would go back just to get this.
a cake that my mother bakes,
Oh.
which you can't get here.
Nice.
What about this cake is so special?
The ingredients, you can't get them here.
Oh, like you
So
absolutely.
otherwise, I would have tried to do it myself. I'm not a good baker, but I miss it so much. But yeah, you can't really get it here.
Okay.
So.
Guys, you're asking the wrong question.
What's the right
He's
question?
from Germany. What kind of beer does he make?
Oh, my God. I'm sorry. I'm
made
so
this
sorry.
A taste test.
Yes, like a blind test. Know your German beer.
Know your German beers.
My
Sure.
goodness. He's loves. I mean, you're not wrong.
What is
yeah.
your favorite beer that's from Germany?
It's called Weizen. It's like from Munich, in the Munich area. So they make some pretty good beer.
Oh, I think we might have to grab a beer after this.
Oh,
episode.
absolutely.
Hey guys, I was just kidding. Anna took it seriously.
I don't know. It was so
Let's go.
fascinating. So when we release this episode, we'll just all share a pint
Just
together.
have a
and
pint
just-
together.
Great.
In moderation.
In moderation, of course. And we're all over the age of 21.
Disclaimer.
disclaimer.
We're very over the age of 21.
And last question, what was something that kind of surprised you coming to the U.S.? Maybe something about the culture or anything specific that you're like, oh, this is interesting.
What surprised me? That's actually a very good question. I wouldn't say that there was something that completely threw me off. Like, as I said, I've been coming to the Bay Area quite often, so there wasn't really this thing where I would say, okay, that was completely surprising.
Gotcha. Have you learned any, I mean, from the Bay, have you learned any slang or any words that, you know?
Do you use the word hella?
Hella?
Yeah. Have you heard that word?
No.
Hella? Father Francis, have you heard hella?
Yeah, but I don't use it.
Oh, okay, for sure. Yeah, it's a Bay Area thing, so.
Do you listen to E40? Let's drop some E40. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Don't drop some E40.
No, he's just a Bay Area rapper. But we do before we get into this next segment, which we'll kind of use getting to know each other a little bit better. We want to pull up some photos. These photos I found. I did a little research on you guys. Google. There isn't much, I will say, but I was able to find photos from your guys' parish's Facebook pages that were posted when you guys first joined that parish. So we're going to pull up a photo, either Father Francis or Father Johannes first. And I want you to tell us about this photo. Who took it, when it happened, if you can remember, and what you were feeling in that moment when you were first given the assignment of your current parish.
Let's pull up the first one. Oh.
Wow.
So this is Father Francis in 2018. So, Father, you want to tell us about this photo?
So yeah, 3 years ago. So first thing, we had seminarians from Hawaii who attended the ordination. So it was a great privilege to wear that the lei. And again, to our Hawaiian brothers and sisters, that's such an honor to be placed something like that on you. So it's a huge honor. But really what strikes me here is the woman behind me, way far. That's my mom. So that's such a great moment for me, having been ordained and having my mom, literally she has my back. So that's just it. And of course the great joy of being ordained, especially by Bishop McGrath. Me, Father Eric, and Father Edgar were the last ones he ordained as priests. So that's really special.
Wow.
Before Bishop McGrath retired. That's
Gotcha.
Love that.
That's awesome. Great picture.
All right, can we bring up the next photo?
I knew that you were going to show this picture. I knew it.
So believe it or not, this is Father Johannes in 2018, which is only 3 years ago. But in the caption itself, I don't have it up here, but in the caption itself, it says something along the lines of, "No, this isn't one of our youth ministry teens. This is our new priest."
Did you ever get mistaken, like when you're walking around the parish, like, "Oh, are you lost?" Or
not in the parish, but I had it that people didn't think that I'm the priest. That they would just pass by when someone referred them. Go there to the priest. They would just walk by.
Where?
Recognize me. And this picture was actually, I had just arrived in the Bay Area. That was my first day. I was still a jet lag and everything.
Yeah.
It was like my first walks in the office. So Carlos, the youth minister, came and I said, "Oh, hi, I'm the new priest." And he said, "Oh, sure, can I take a picture?"
Sounds like Carlos.
Oh yeah, and then he put it on
Hi,
Facebook, and it's really funny because just last Sunday we were talking about this picture, and he told me when he saw me he didn't believe that I was a priest. He thought that I'm a surfer boy or something.
Surfer boy.
It was really funny. It was nice. It was a great day, and I was really excited to get to know all the people in the parish and to make my first moves in the parish. It was really great. I liked it, but then someone told me, well, as a priest, maybe in the S, change it a little bit so that people actually recognize you as a priest.
Goodness.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So we do have one more photo since we're on the photos right now.
I'm very interested in this photo.
So, do you want to explain what happened? So actually, Father Johannes received, was honored by the state of, is it Hesse?
Hesse?
State of Hesse with the Hessian Rescue Medal. You received this medal in 2019, but it was because of something you did in 2017. Do you mind sharing that story?
What happened?
No, wow, you're good. You did your research. So what happened in my first year as a priest in Germany in my parish, I was accompanying one of the co-workers to our parish because my apartment was not in the parish, and it was Christmas season, and there was on the street I heard someone screaming, and At first I wasn't sure whether it was just some girls screaming because they were having party
Yeah.
or because something was happening. So I told her, stay here and let me have a look what's happening there. So I had my little bike and I was going there and I just saw someone running away and had someone in his arms. So I just followed them and then I rode my bike towards them and I saw someone lying on the ground, but I didn't really even realize that he was lying there and he had his neck cut.
Ooh.
So I went to them and then I stopped the two couples and I said, is everything okay? And the guy said, yeah, everything's fine. Just mind your own business. Go away. It's fine. But I looked at the woman. She was looking scared. So I said, are you sure? Is everything fine? And she said, don't go away. He's kidnapping me.
Oh.
So
gosh.
so I put my bike in between them and and then the guy ran off, fortunately. And then we came back, and then what we found out is that he had kidnapped her. He was the father, but he had kidnapped the son, and he was about to kidnap the girl, that woman. He was from Syria, and and he would have
My goodness.
So he fled
Wow.
the country, and fortunately, eventually they got the guy. So
Oh, they got
the
him.
medal was given to me because of bravery to go into the
Wow.
sea.
I mean, absolutely. That takes a lot of bravery and courage. That
That is an amazing story, and I mean, props to you for standing up and not like when the guy told you to initially just like no, it's not your issue, go away.
Like, all right.
Someone might have walked away in that moment like, oh well, okay, but you felt something wrong. You listened to that intuition, and thank God you did.
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I mean, thinking about it afterwards, you just realize how it could have gone wrong. I mean, the guy could have also just, I don't know why he ran away. He could have just, stabbed me and
Wow.
walked off. But thank God everything turned out well.
Were you in your cleric?
No, it was more like in the picture.
Gotcha. Okay.
You didn't have your superhero suit on.
I know. You're like, what? Just bring it out. My goodness, that's an awesome story.
Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
All right, so our next segment is called Battle of the Best Friends. Let's go. Okay.
First time doing this on MDD. by
First
the
time
way.
doing this on MDD. Do you want to hand those?
Yeah,
I'm anxious to see how Francis knows me or does not know me.
I know. We'll see.
Okay, so the way this little segment's going to work is our lovely producer Jenny is going to be asking us questions. The way it works is Jenny will ask me a question about Kevin. She'll ask Father Francis a question about Father Johannes. We have to write down what we think our partner is going to answer. If we get it right, then we'll wait till our partner reveals their answer out loud. If we reveal our written answer and it is the same as the answer they gave out loud, then we get a point. Point by point basis, we'll see which dynamic duo is the most dynamic.
You have to do well.
Oh gosh.
So let's see who can read their partner's minds.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
We'll test some friendship, and if MDD doesn't win, we are quitting the podcast. That's a joke.
This will be our last one.
That is absolutely a joke. We like doing what we do. All right, let's see. Does it work? Okay, cool.
All right.
I'm nervous. We don't know these questions. We didn't cheat. Just to be clear, we
Okay.
had our
Jenny, can we-
producer come up with these questions.
Exactly. The question is, what is your best friend's all-time favorite food?
Oh no! Wait, this is also asked to them too. Wait, same question.
Okay.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's just one person. Okay.
And then, okay.
Okay, so it's
So we have to write.
So
everyone writes it.
Oh, okay.
Everyone writes the
everyone
answer.
writes it
About the other
about their partner.
Okay.
Okay, and so Francis now has to guess what my best friend's
Ye-
favorite
Or no,
food
what
is.
your
yours
your
is.
favorite food.
What my favorite food
Because you're
is.
his best friend.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this is like
Oh, yeah,
this
right.
is about
If
each
you
other.
want to be.
Oh, I forgot that. Yeah, that we.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if I know this
Your
answer.
favorite food?
All-time favorite food or go-to food? Because I feel like those are different, maybe.
Go-to food.
Go to.
Dude, what?
Go-to food.
I feel like we eat together all the time and I don't know this.
Are you done?
No, no, no,
I'm done. 'cause-
I'm not.
Oh,
I even have to think about what my favorite is. There's so many.
Father, do you want to put it face down so we can't see?
Yeah. This is face down now.
Oh,
It
that is
Oh.
face down. Oh, wow.
I was like, I don't know what's written on the pack. It looked. Okay.
Your f- all your go-to food.
Oh no, this is bad. Okay,
Go-to food.
we should probably put a timer or something so we don't.
Go to is like
Go-to food.
your cravings for something.
Go-to food.
Oh no, they're already done.
Okay, I'm just gonna take a guess.
I'm gonna put favorite food.
Oh. Favorite food?
That's different.
I have to guess yours.
Because my go-to would be like, but my favorite food.
I have to guess.
Sorry.
All-time favorite. Oh
I
gosh.
need
Okay.
one more.
All right, Kev, what's your all-time favorite food?
It's just like a kind of food, but
I'm stressed.
my all-time favorite food would have to be like what I can have any like over and over again.
Can
I
you
would
tell
say
we're
chicken
nerv-
wings. I would say chicken wings. I'd say wings. That's like a go-to.
I said, oh, I don't know if you can tell. It's K barbecue.
Oh man, that's so yes. Oh, how so?
Okay, let me
distressed.
just say for the record, his best friends are upset because they would have maybe said this. Oh wait.
Oh,
Oh, okay. No point.
no point. So for my Anna,
Oh,
what's
okay.
your favorite?
Oh,
food?
let's go
Oh,
over
let's
here.
go over
We'll
there.
come back.
So, do I say what friend? No.
I think we have some cheats over here.
When you said all time, I had to change my answer because we've dined like multiple times, but I think all time I had to reconsider.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Father Johannes, what's your all-time favorite food?
Pasta.
Pasta.
Oh,
No way.
Pasta.
he's European, so easy. It's yours. Sorry, I'm stereotyping.
That's so funny. Okay, Anna, what's your all-time favorite food?
My all-time favorite
no.
food, I
got
think you
this
got this. I think you got this. Is sushi.
Didn't know that.
No. What'd you put?
Cause I was confused with all-time favorite, but we used to say like, what's your like go-to, like what's your favorite?
Oh no.
Because we recently talked about this, and you've had it a lot. I put that your mom's tamales.
Oh.
Because you said that
Oh.
we were talking about that, but it's
we know
okay.
each other too well, actually. All right, keeping score. We got 0. You guys got 1. Let's go back over here. Father Francis, what is your all-time favorite food?
I'm proud Filipino, so I can't deny that my all-time favorite food is our national dish, which it's actually debatable, but it's adobo. So it's chicken and pork adobo.
Chicken, pork,
so either
adobo.
one. So I know. It
Father
will be
Johannes is
hard.
like, yeah, totally got
At
that.
least our way of thinking is very similar because I remember the first time we had dinner together. And this might be stereotyping too. We had Asian food, so,
Okay.
but not Filipino, but it was
Yeah.
sushi. So I thought maybe he is into sushi.
And he has to tell you something about it. Was epic. So I invited him over. So I brought him to the best Asian restaurant here in Morgan, and I was so proud because that was my go-to place. So he ordered. So I let him order. He ordered this sushi. Did you try? So I told him to try sushi, and he did. We finished. We went home, and then the next day or days after, I heard that Father Johannes is quarantined, and this was before we were using the name the name quarantine.
Oh,
This was 2018, and he was quarantined for how many days?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
And I think the Department of Health had to contact him because his
way.
test turned out to be
Yeah.
that it was contagious or something. So,
There was something
so
in
he
the
had a
food.
pandemic before the pandemic.
We
my
had the pandemic
goodness.
There
before
was
it was
like
cool.
a really contagious thing, and probably through the sushi that I got, and I was completely knocked out. Like
Wow.
the health department called me, and I couldn't have contact. It was like having COVID. You couldn't go
goodness.
anywhere. You just needed to be in your room, and it was just very awful. And
Oh
Felt
my
so guilty
goodness.
though, but
from that sushi.
we
he
do
never-
not know if it was the sushi.
Oh,
that
we
I
don't
have to
know.
admit, but it was just one day after eating sushi. So
It just so
it was his
happened.
first ever sushi in his life. Actually,
Gotcha, never again.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
I was very careful. It took me quite a while, to be honest. to
No,
make
it
the sushi.
totally makes sense.
All right, let's see. Round two. We got to redeem ourselves here.
Okay.
What is your best friend's dream travel destination?
Oh.
it's a good.
Oh, Do we have to be specific with the country? Can it be the continent?
Yeah, how specific are we being here? Bro, what the heck?
The question for those who couldn't hear was, what is your best friend's dream travel destination? Out of the country.
Out of
So
the country.
so abroad. Okay.
I don't think we've ever talked about this.
Ever.
Jenny, you were supposed to rig these.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Dream travel. Oh.
We'll see.
I'm just gonna assume.
I feel like I'm like trying to play this game where I can think of like what you're going to like what you think I'm gonna answer and say that instead of what I would actually say. But I feel like that's cheating.
I'm enjoying watching these guys. 'Cause I think they're having a hard time.
Okay, I think I'm gonna be. I'm
Remember,
gonna
your
go on the
friendship is on the
general
line.
side, and hope that by going general, it can be encompassed in that.
Dream travel destination. Okay.
Oh, I don't feel good about this at all. And they seem very confident.
Yeah, they're like,
mind you.
done,
We'll see.
written,
Yeah.
done.
We'll see.
All right, let's start over here. So Father Johannes, starting with Father Francis this time. What is your dream travel?
My
Yeah.
answer, okay.
What is yours?
Mine is since I was supposed to go to Rome last 2020 for my first ever trip to Rome. It was canceled because of the pandemic. So just to see Rome, that's my
Okay. Father Johannes, what did you say?
So I wrote down Europe because on that trip he was about to go to Rome
yes
and
Germany.
to Germany.
Yeah.
So that's why I wrote Europe, because it would have been one trip.
That-
So
So
it was
Oh.
actually my first time in Europe. So he was right.
Yeah.
Okay. They get another point. I'm gonna add it to the scoreboard. It's
Yes.
2-0 right now.
All right.
Coming back over here. I guess I'm supposed to answer the question now.
Yes. What is,
I don't think we've ever talked about this, so I do apologize because I don't think you know this. There's actually two.
Okay.
Can I say both, and then if you
Yeah.
get to one of the two?
let's just pray.
Okay, I'm gonna say both. Cause no, look at that. They're calling me out. They're calling me out.
that is cheating.
I'll
What's
go-
what's your one? What's number one?
I'll go with
Let's see.
number one. My number one is actually Iceland.
Wow.
All right. As
Sorry.
long as Iceland is close to Rome, that's pretty. I kind of just went, I don't know if she's been to Europe or Rome or the Vatican, so I kind of assumed.
It's on the bucket
But-
list, but I will say Iceland's a little higher.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I'm a bad Catholic.
No, it's good to know, man. I've never thought of traveling to Iceland. That's kind of
Iceland, I mean, nature. Nature's where it's at.
Cool. Yeah.
There's
So
a
back.
volcano going on. The volcano there is
Oh
just enough
yeah,
that it's
I've been seeing a
beautiful.
lot of coverage of it.
Oh.
Okay, so back over here, Father Johannes, what is your dream travel location?
It's something that he probably doesn't know. Cuba. I've always wanted to go to Cuba. I've never done it.
Why?
I don't know. Ever since I was a teenager, the Caribbean island, Cuba, the old cars, the culture, the music, everything just really, yeah.
All right, so what did you say?
My answer
Father?
was far. Because he serves. He goes to Santa Cruz every now and then. So my answer was Australia to serve.
Oh,
okay.
Australia is also my bucket
my
list.
second answer was New Zealand. For me, New Zealand and Iceland are right there.
Nice.
All right, Kev,
We have to be get on the board.
we gotta get 1 point, dude. We can't
Okay.
skunk it.
Okay, so so it's not a certain country. It's kind of a whole continent. But my dream travel location, and I would go over and over again, is Europe. I love Europe.
I mean,
Let's go.
Are we even now? Are we even? I think we're leading. We're leading. Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, so that was my thought process. I remember one time very vividly hearing you say, I want to go to Fatima. And then Barb was there and she's like, you've been to Fatima. And you're like, I've been to Fatima?
I've been blessed to go to Fatima twice now, but the first time I had no idea I was there.
He was a teen.
I was a teen. It was 2011. It was World Youth Day, and I just saw, it's a nice church, like all the churches we were visiting. But it's not until I grew in my faith and I learned what that place was. I was like, I've been there. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Do you have a favorite place in Europe?
Favorite place in Europe? Barcelona, Spain.
Barcelona. Nice.
That's my favorite place. That's where I would move there. That's where my heart is. I love Barcelona.
I'm going
All
there.
right. So, but guys, step up. We're leading.
I know this guy.
2-1, 2-1,
So
2-1. All right,
competitive.
let's hear the next question, Jenny.
What college did your best friend attend?
What college did your best friend
Oh.
attend? Counting seminary?
Can we do seminaries?
Counting
first?
seminaries?
Seminary is a college, isn't that?
You can include more than one if they've attended more than one. We'll say that.
Oh my gosh, that is really easy.
Yeah.
If I get this wrong, that's it.
We're really happy this time.
I'm very happy. Thank you.
All right, starting over here with Kevin first.
Okay.
Okay.
Kev, what college or colleges have you attended?
I went to San Francisco State University. Go Gators.
San Francisco State. Let's
Solid.
go.
All right.
Go over here. Father Johannes, what college or colleges have you attended?
So I attended Johannes Gutenberg University and St. Mary's Seminary.
Just
St. Mary's Seminary in Germany. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a point. That's, a point.
All right, Anna. What college did you go to?
I think even our listeners know this. I went to Santa Clara University. Go Broncos.
Santa Clara University. Go Broncos. and every school.
And every school. He literally wrote Go Broncos.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say it.
All right, back over here. Father Francis, what college or colleges have you attended?
All right. I went to San Carlos Seminary in Manila, but here it will be St. Patrick's Seminary and Mundelein Seminary.
St. Patrick.
And Mandalay, nice.
Hey, points all around.
But that was an easy one
That was
because
a
you know
very
where
easy
people
one.
can
Yeah,
go
you know.
to study. So
Only two
Absolutely.
places. So
All right, so the score right now is 4-3. Our team of priests right now are winning. How many more questions do we have, Jenny? Okay, okay, we have a few runs. Okay, we'll try to speed run it.
Who is your best friend's patron saint?
Dude, we should have talked about this.
What's your best friend's
Oh wait,
patron
you've
saint?
told me. Shoot. Oh no.
I don't know your patron saint.
What's your best friend's patron saint?
I'm not sure, but
Lord help me. Okay.
Oh no. I don't think I'm gonna get yours at all.
Okay.
Okay. So, Father Francis, who is your patron saint?
Saint Francis of Assisi.
St. Francis of Assisi.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Let me add that to you guys' points. It's mine.
Yes. Anna, who's your patron saint?
There's 3.
Okay.
I'm trying to guess which one you would know. Maybe one of them is Saint Ignatius of Loyola.
Oh my gosh, I should have known that.
Sorry.
I knew that.
Okay, what'd you write?
What are the other two?
The other 2, Saint Michael and
Jesuit. I forgot.
Frazzati, blessed actually.
Blessed
to be.
Frazzati.
Yeah.
I went with the safe route because I thought this was gonna happen, but when I have doubts, I always trust in Mary, so I put Mary.
Oh, dude, that's what I was
Mother
thinking.
of
You were
God.
right.
I put Mary, Mother of God.
All right, no points. Over here, Father Johannes, who is your patron saint?
Oscar Romero.
I have Thomas Aquinas. He's really
Oscar
good in
Romero,
philosophy.
I love
so,
that.
Yeah.
I would never see.
Like I really like
Oscar.
newer, but by my name it would be John, the disciple that Jesus loved.
Yes, the beloved.
John the Beloved.
My
John
goodness.
the beloved.
All right, Kev, who is your patron?
My patron saint is Saint John the Baptist.
Let's go.
I was born on his feast day.
Let's go. I got one, dude. We're very close. You guys have 5. We have 4.
No.
All right.
Small margin.
Neck and neck.
won?
So the way this works is, correct me if I'm wrong, Jenny. Jenny's gonna ask us who's most likely to, and you either put your own name or your partner's name. If you both say the same, then you get a point.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So there's 2 answers. It's simpler It's either you or your partner.
Okay.
50-50.
So you also have
either
to
put down my name or my partner's name.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the way you get a point is you both write the same name. Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, it's you both write the same name.
Okay.
Alphabetical. I'm kidding. No, I'm not.
Who is most likely to forget people's names?
Oh.
All right,
Most
so
definitely.
we'll do a reveal one at a time. We'll do, since the camera's on us, our reveal first.
I'll go first.
No, we go at the same time.
Same time? Okay. Ready? 3.
Should we say it out loud too?
Yeah. 3. Oh. 3, 2, 1. Kevin. I would totally forget your name. You.
Hey, you. All right, so we'll do a reveal over here. We'll count you
right.
down, and you can say it out loud too. 3, 2, 1.
Johannes.
You know how I had a feeling because Father Francis was like, Anna, Kevin. Hi, Anna and Kevin. And I was like, oh, is he trying to remind him of our name? I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Little pre-show.
Exactly. That was a good one. I like that.
Who's most likely to take the longest to get ready?
Oh, wow.
Ooh. Okay. this will be funny regardless of what we write.
I agree.
Okay, so we'll go over to our priests first. You guys can reveal in 3, 2, 1.
Me.
That's a
He
point.
actually was here when you guys arrived. I wasn't here until you texted me.
Okay, to remind you guys, our priests have 7
Good.
points and we have 5.
Ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Kevin.
Me. Yeah. That takes so long to get ready. Anna lives all the way in Santa Clara and she's meeting me at St. Francis and I live like 7 minutes away from St. Francis, but she'll still beat me there.
I was like, I'm running late. I was 2 minutes late. He was like, I haven't left my house.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. It takes me so long to get ready.
No.
If you tell me a time, it's probably like 10 minutes after that time that I get there. So always tell me 15 minutes before.
No,
Like,
I'm also a kind of person who's like being on time is late for me. Like I'm always early. But yeah, let's.
I want to be that person. But
I
it's so hard.
strive to be that person.
That's true.
All right, so let's. At this point, unless our priests lose a point, I think they're gonna win.
Absolutely.
So let's have this be the last one,
Yeah.
Francis, ready?
Or it'll be a tie.
see.
We'll know.
dude. Come on, Jenny.
Who is most likely to die first in a horror movie?
Oh, to
In a
die first in a
horror
horror movie?
Like in a scary movie, who would be
Oh, come on.
That's hard.
Wow, that's.
Oh.
All right,
Oh.
let's.
Let's go first.
You
Go
guys
first?
go first.
Yeah. Oh, so the question was, who would be most likely to die first in a horror movie if you were placed in a horror movie? All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Anna.
Yeah,
No, not because like of anything bad, but I feel like she would be trying to stop whatever's happening, and then she would just kind of die in battle.
Oh,
in a
that's.
sense.
I'm happily surprised you think so highly of me. I would just be terrified, and I think I would make a stupid mistake.
Like you trip and just be
Yeah.
like, oh well, here we go.
All right. So right now it is tied. Will the priest continue to lead this game with this final point? Revealing in 3, 2, 1.
Me.
Me.
Oh! It ends in a tie.
Father Francis is so upset. If you look at it,
No,
we almost got
Maybe we can do a tiebreaker.
Oh,
Another.
Okay, let's break the tie.
Who is most likely to win the lottery and then lose the ticket?
Oh.
Win the lottery and then lose the ticket.
just to repeat it for the audience, who is most likely to win the lottery and lose the ticket?
Wow.
All right. Let's see. Well, I guess Priest will reveal first. Revealing in 3, 2, 1.
Johannes.
Johannes.
Oh!
All right. So
All right,
point.
I don't know
we gotta
why, but I
keep-
feel like if it's me, I'm gonna hold on to it and
Yeah.
Dear life.
right away.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I would be that one.
It's like, where did I put that? I think I won.
Exactly.
All right. Let's see.
3, 2, 1.
Anna.
Oh
no! Okay, I was thinking that you would say me. Like I was thinking that's like I was trying to play it like kind of play it smart where I was like, oh, he's gonna say me, and so I'm gonna say the same answer, but I still think it would be you.
Yeah, no, I thought it was me.
No, but I thought that you thought it would be me.
No, yeah, no, I would totally lose the ticket.
Oh my god!
I'd be like, Jenny, where's the ticket? She's like, I don't know. You never gave it to me. I'm like, no.
You guys take the W.
Thank you. Congratulations,
All
man.
right.
That was fun.
We could have left it as a tie, Father Francis.
Whatever.
That's true.
Thank you guys so much, fathers, for playing the game. You guys won. Congratulations.
Battle of the best friends, and you guys took the dub.
I guess they're more best friends than we are.
I guess we're not best friends anymore, Kev.
I know. Well, we can work on that.
Homies for life.
Definitely.
All
but-
right.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah, so let's jump into their faith journey. Obviously, we know that they end up in the seminary and they end up in the vocation of priesthood. But let's find out how they got there. This is the first time we've ever had priests on the show.
Yeah, and not only that, but I feel like you guys are, if not the youngest priests in the diocese right now, as of now.
Are you?
That's what somebody was telling me.
It's Father Gabriel technically by
Okay.
age. I think he's 1 year younger than me. He's 32, and I'm 33. He's 34.
Okay.
So technically, Father Gabriel Lee.
Gotcha.
All right. So some of the youngest priests in our diocese, and we just want to dive into your faith journeys. You guys can share your stories and kind of how you got to where you are today. And
Absolutely.
hopefully along that way, our listeners can hear about your vocation and
Maybe be inspired. Maybe there's somebody out there that's wondering about their vocation, and maybe this will be that guide.
yeah. Look
No
at this,
pressure.
guys. Young priests who are cool and win game show games. All right. So
Let's begin with Father Francis.
yeah, Father Francis.
All right, so thank you. I think I would say many times in my life, especially growing up, I had priests who inspired me, not just one priest. And actually looking back, I just realized, so I have 3 versions of my vocation story.
Okay.
How I became, like how I discovered my call. And just recently, honestly, I realized that it actually started the night before my father died in 1995. So my father, as I was in first grade or second grade, I would see him go on and off to the hospital, in and out, and he had issues with his kidney, with his high blood pressure. And there was one night where he asked for a priest to come over to the house to have confession. So he was there in our living room, and the priest came. And at first, I was a first grader, and I really didn't know what a priest, other than going to mass, seeing the priest. But I didn't realize that the priest can listen to someone's confession.
Yeah.
And so that was actually what my father did the night before he passed. And so when we woke up the next morning, I just realized that people were panicking because my father passed away. And I didn't realize that night that my father went to confession had a great impact in my life. Not until like a few years ago, that maybe I saw that my father prioritized his faith, and that a priest who could have been resting already that night decided to visit someone who is sick and listen to someone's confession. Maybe they did an anointing of the sick as well.
Yeah.
All my life, probably it was in the back of my mind that a priest is willing to go out of his comfort zone and be with someone and offer help and ministry, and for also a father of a family who knows the value of the sacraments. has always been in my heart. So, I maybe didn't realize that when I was in high school or college, but I just realized that, it had an impact in my life. And I'm pretty sure that because of that, that helped me decide to become a priest, to also be available to others who are in need.
So at a very young age, you
Yeah.
had already seen what sacrifices a priest would make
Yeah.
for the good of another.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
you knew
first
you wanted
grade.
to do that. I know.
Yeah.
That was very young.
To have such an impactful moment
Yeah.
that, again, it was in the back of your mind throughout
Yeah.
your whole life. And when did you first think back on that moment, or when did you start to take that into consideration, when you thought about your vocation and thought about, like, this is something I
Yeah.
want to do, this is
To be
someone I want to
honest,
be?
It was only right before I became a priest when I did my retreat. It was an 8-day retreat. When I was, before entering to the priesthood, we were asked to do a retreat. And that was the moment where I had to, like, really look back and really decide and pray if God really wants this for me. And when I was doing my journal, for some reason, it went back to, my memory went back to that moment before my father died. And I realized, my father asked for a priest. And a priest came to anoint and listen to my dad's confession. So, it went back full circle.
Wow.
What do you, if you don't mind me asking, what do you think your father would think of you today and all that you've accomplished and what you're doing with your life right now?
I'm sure he is honored and humbled too that someone from his family, let alone his son, became a priest. So
Absolutely.
I would say humbled.
I would say proud.
Very
as well.
proud.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you.
amazing. Oh, I had a.
Go
I
ahead,
didn't
go.
know you were
No,
about to say something.
go for it.
And
Sorry.
then I had a question for Father Francis. So since from that young age, I know you wanted, that kind of sparked that want, that desire for priesthood. When you were actually in the seminary, were there any challenges? How was that discernment? Did you ever have a point where you're like, maybe not, like maybe this isn't the wrong choice, or did you always know, like, full speed ahead, like this is my vocation?
Yeah, I had ups and downs, and I will really say that my seminary journey was up and down. I had battles, I had hills to climb, mountains to conquer. In fact, with priesthood, you have to graduate philosophy or at least take a couple of years. But for me, I did it as my undergrad.
Oh, okay.
So for 4 years, I finished philosophy, and I went into a discernment year, whether or not I'm going to go to the last 5 years of theology. So after 5 years of an undergrad and discernment year, I decided that I did not want to be a priest anymore or to enter priesthood. So I left the seminary.
Wow.
And for 3 years, I taught religion at the Catholic school in Manila.
Okay.
So those were great 3 years in my life. And I tried to stay away. I tried to run away from the call as much as I can, because I wanted to be sure. And I wanted to be sure that it was for me, that I wanted it, and God wants it for me. But for some reason, God, like the song, Yahweh, or God, I know you're here. Even if you run to the mountains or to the seas, He will find a way to pull you back.
Yeah.
So indeed, He called me back to the priesthood through the students that I was teaching, and through the retreats that I was giving, through the conversion stories of my students.
Yes.
Wow.
Led me to think, Lord, why do you always put me in situations like this where I'm, humbled to become the bridge of reconciliation between them and their parents, between them and their classmates? And that's when I started to think, maybe God wants me to do this in a bigger scale as a priest.
I think that's very inspiring, that God placed those 3 years that you thought you were running away, but He actually used those to even form you even
more.
better to be, the priest you are today. That's awesome.
When would you say was your first encounter with Christ? The first moment where you recognized the true presence of Christ? Doesn't have to be an adoration, it can be. Where you realized that God was real.
I would say I had a couple of them, but one really experience that stands alone was, it was a tragic incident in my family's life. This was back home in the Philippines when I lost my cousins and my uncle, my favorite uncle, and my closest cousins to a fire in their house. It was an incident at night, and there was a fire up or like on the lower ground of the building, and they were trapped inside the building, and we lost these family members of ours. And I was at the seminary at that time, and the moment I learned the news, I went to the chapel. I cried all day, and when it was our time to pray, when they were playing the song, I forgot the song, but it was such a profound song that hit me. It was then that God was listening to me, and He was just, in my mind, I can hear Him say, son, I'm listening. Just pour out your heart to me. And I feel like it is in those tragic moments in our lives that we feel sometimes, and sometimes we claim that God is not there or God is absent, but indeed He is there. He might not be up there looking or commanding at us, but He's actually sitting and grieving with us next to us. So
Absolutely.
I really felt that at that moment.
Wow.
That's very powerful.
That's very powerful.
And I think it is a testament to the times when we feel like you're saying, like God is absent or God isn't there, or maybe we feel distant from God, or we're grieving or we're in pain. And what I love about our faith is we have a God that's very close to our pain.
Yeah.
I think what's beautiful about Jesus coming to earth, fully human, fully divine, is that He wasn't free of pain. He felt emotional pain in His earthly ministry. He felt physical pain. So we have a God that knows our pain. He knows what it feels like. And He's not apart from that. He's actually in that with us. And that is a powerful faith moment when you recognize that and feel the closeness of Christ with you in your own grief. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
So if we want to transition over to Father Johannes, if you want to share a little bit about your faith journey, how you came to the priesthood, and everything in between.
Sure. First of all, thank you for sharing. I had never heard his vocation story because, as Francis mentioned earlier, usually when we get together, we don't talk about religious things.
Yeah.
So, I think my mom is a theologian. So in my household, theology was always a big thing.
Wow.
And very early, I started to talk about theology with my mom. So I guess that was one side, the theology with my mom. Then I guess my grandma, who inspired me a lot, very, very profound faith. She had to go through a lot of things. She lost her husband, her mom, and her young daughter within just a couple of years. And how when I saw how her faith helped her to cope with that, that really inspired me. Where did my vocation start? I would say when I was a child, at church, the old ladies always said, "You're going to become a priest." And I thought that was crazy. I was like, no, I'm not becoming a priest. But I think it was always there, kind of. So I went through high school. And so when I was 15, 16, the question became more vivid. So after high school, I had to decide, what should I do? What do I want to do? So there were two options for me, becoming a priest or becoming a teacher. Actually, pretty similar to Francis. And I, at the time, didn't really see myself becoming a priest. I was young, and I couldn't see myself committing to such a big commitment. And I really liked being a priest because my whole family is also teachers. Becoming a teacher, so that's what I did. I started studying at the university to become a teacher.
Wow.
And while I was studying in my university town of Mainz in Germany, I got into close contact with the seminary, because in Germany the seminarians study at the public university, not like here where you're in a private university, but in Germany it's a public university. So started going to the seminary, attending masses there from time to time. And I had almost finished my studies to become a teacher when I met a really cool priest from South Africa.
Okay.
And one of his parishioners became a priest. He was a friend of mine, actually. That's how I got to know the guy. And so at his ordination, that really touched me. And so I started talking to him, and I said, yeah, I feel that, but I don't know. And he said, Johannes, let me tell you something. If God calls, he will not stop calling. So you can run away from it, but God will always find means. And this feeling that you have, and this question that you have, it will not go away. It'll always be there. So why don't you give it a try? And if it's not your way, then God will let you know. God guides you.
Wow.
So just give it a try. And if it's not your thing, go back to becoming a teacher. Do whatever you want, but just give it a try. And that's how I entered the seminary. And it actually got confirmed. When I was going through the seminary more and more, I felt that, actually, this is your calling. And I had to promise my dad that I finished my studies to become a teacher because he just wanted me to be sure.
Gotcha.
But that's how that's how I ended up in the seminary, and that's actually how this whole process in the seminary started until I became ordained in 2016.
Wow.
I love that image of once God starts calling, he won't stop calling.
Yeah.
We all need friends like that. Like we it's just I think we've used this analogy in the past, but Kevin and I are the worst texters. It's a known fact.
It's
We
really
have
bad.
I have thousands of unread texts, but we're bad at responding to people. But that's the thing that's beautiful about God and our faith is that when God calls, he's not going to stop calling. Like, you can ignore his calls as long as you want. You can ignore his texts. He'll leave voicemails. He'll find a way to reach you.
Right.
And that's such a beautiful image that your the friend from South Africa shared with you, is that give it a try, because God will let you know. And I think that confidence in God's will is what brought you through.
Right.
That's awesome. Giving God a chance. How does when you were ordained, or when you chose the vocation of priesthood, your mom being a theologian, how did she react to that? Was she ecstatic, or?
Yeah, she was pretty happy.
I bet.
Obviously, she was very happy. On the one hand, on the other hand, she also knew that it's not an easy path. So she had two hearts in her chest, because she knew that while being a priest can be very amazing, it can also be very challenging.
Absolutely.
So so
My goodness.
she said, if God guides you, then, and she said, I knew this is your way, but she never pushed me that way. She never said, Johannes, you should become a priest. Not a single moment where she said, Johannes, you should become a priest. Never. She wanted me to find it out, or to be guided by God in other ways. So that's something I really appreciated.
And
That's the
being
support
being
of
a
mama.
priest is that's the support of
Yeah,
mama.
that's
Yeah,
the support of
absolutely.
mama.
Being a priest, you kind of are in a way teaching people through your homilies, through
absolutely.
through your education to become a teacher. Does that really help you as a priest now or today? Or do you think back on that education and things that you learned on growing to be a teacher, and you're like, oh, I could do that, or I could implement that. Yeah.
into
Oh yeah, definitely. I think so. I mean, just catechism is teaching. So I use a lot of what I learned in my studies. When I became a teacher, I also had to do psychology classes and things like that, which really helped me. And and talking about God was something that I was taught as a teacher. So it really helped me, and I'm really glad that I have that background that I can
Gotcha.
use.
I have a question for both of you. Did you, in your early life, did you date?
yeah.
Did you plan
I wish
this?
we got that reaction. You did. And was did
Pretend
you?
like you heard it for the first time. Camera back to them.
And was that a difficult
Thing to let go of.
let go of that, knowing that?
I think it is important, actually, before becoming a priest, that you do date, because it helps you understand how relationships work, and it also helps you to understand what you're giving up.
Absolutely.
I think it is. I've met people that have been in the seminary that have never been dating. They went straight from high school to the seminary, and now they were almost 30, close to ordination, and all of a sudden they started wondering, what is it actually like to date a girl?
Got it.
And then all those questions started coming up. And, if you see that half of the people that enter the seminary give it up because they they want to find out what it is like, I think it is actually pretty wise to date before you go to seminary.
So there are priests that, you know, like you said, go straight from high school into the seminary and never really have that experience. How do you think that that affects you as a priest when it comes to counseling a married couple? How does a priest go about that if you've never had that relationship or been married, obviously, or is it more difficult to consult a couple that's going through marriage problems when you yourself haven't been in that vocation or haven't dated or anything like that?
That's part of our training. So we, in the seminary, for your 8 or 10 years in the seminary, we have classes on, psychology, counseling. I even went through a, marriage counseling class in the seminary. You don't have to be married before in order to understand couples who are married or getting into marriage. As long as you're and to be honest, in my experience, in 3 years of being a priest, whenever I counsel couples who are going through a hard time, they actually just want you to be there and to be listened to,
kind of mediator,
and to
almost
pray with. And this is my what I discovered in my ministry. The best thing that you can do is really not to give them answers or solutions. Is give them options. Spread everything in front of them, and pray with them so that they can choose the best thing that they can do. So again, you don't have to have that similar experience being married to understand. It's like doctors, you don't have to have cancer in order to help treat someone who has cancer.
That's a great analogy.
I just feel like it's like that.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Right.
So, Father Francis, you very conveniently avoided the question earlier.
I did it. Did I? It was Kevin's question.
Did you date before?
Yeah, I did. Especially that 3 years when I was teaching, because when you're a new teacher in a big Catholic school or any schools, you will have teachers who are seasoned teachers who's been there for 30 years, 40 years. And they would pair you to like younger teachers, like kinder
trying to play
teachers,
matchmaker.
So they would play
in the Catholic schools.
Hey, Francis, have you met the new kinder teacher? And so, so yeah, it's it's part of. I think it's part of the growth that I had gone through, and without that experience, I would have not been who I am. Without that experience. So again, it is better to acknowledge that experience in order to be more present and to be more you can relate more to the people you serve because you had that experience.
Absolutely.
So continue on that subject just a little bit. As
great
priests
subject.
who prior to priesthood did date, what dating advice would you give young couples?
Young listeners.
Oh, I wish you could have got that.
I know. I don't think we're the perfect people to be giving dating.
No, because I mean, how often do we? I mean, have you ever gotten dating advice from a priest?
Yes.
Okay, well,
No, I'm just kidding. No, I haven't.
You also have like probably at least 20 priests in your phone book, in your contacts.
Like, hey, do you have any advice for me?
Hey, so Jenny and I.
No, not even.
No. I mean, if you guys have any advice for couples who are young and dating, for that stage of life, any advice that you would give?
Father Johannes.
I would have to think about that.
I would say first, for the guys especially, treat their parents well.
Oh.
I think
That's
that's
a
the
good
way
one.
to go
Yeah.
to win to win the woman's heart, or even vice versa.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Family is
think-
very important.
I think communication. Work on
Communicate.
your communication skills. I think the most essential thing in any relation is communication, and I think that's especially when you're new to dating, that's something you don't know and how to do. So I think communication is really good.
That's awesome.
Talk about things. Let the other person know what you're feeling, what you like, what you don't like, where your boundaries are.
Wow.
I think that is very important.
That's awesome.
Oh,
That's
that
great
is
advice.
great advice. And honestly, for any relationship, whether it be friendship or romantic, I think good communication, so many problems can be solved through
If you
good,
just communicate.
through good communication.
Absolutely.
And if you see that your boyfriend or girlfriend has vocations to the priesthood or religious life,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to let them go and give them to God. That's the best gift you can ever give.
No, absolutely.
Right?
No, I agree. I think
It's like
Yeah.
it's like Kevin, the one that got away.
so. We're gonna
Before
cut.
this
We're gonna
podcast,
cut.
I was with Father Joe Kim a couple hours before we started this, and
Uh-huh.
when I mentioned about Anna and Kevin, he said, "Oh, Kevin, the one that got away." So
Oh man. Nothing.
As
So, no,
Jenny
Maybe we
walks
see a
back
new
into the
vocation
room.
story
Oh
and
my
someone running
goodness.
away, huh?
I know.
Oh my goodness. No, that's great advice. I'm like turning red.
No, actually, we can actually move from there. I mean, you can maybe Kevin talk about your experience, like being in a relationship right now, and also going through a vocation discernment,
No,
and
go-
how it led you to be maybe having a bigger heart now to someone you love because you also discern God's call.
No, absolutely. I think that's a great question.
Yeah.
Father Francis really said Uno reverse card.
I know, he just said reverse on you. So this is now hosted by Anna and Father Francis.
So Anna, be ready. You're next.
No, I think
Oh,
no, it's
whoa,
a,
no. I don't think we should go there.
wait, wait.
He said, Anna, you're next.
No, I think it's a great question. I think for the longest time, obviously being a young Catholic man working in the church and being very active, you get what like Father Johannes said, like all these people just
Oh,
all
you should
this-
become a priest.
You should become a priest. Like, oh, are you discerning? You think you were the priest? You would make a great priest, and it just got, and that gets to you, that it's easy to kind of brush it off in the moment and be like, no, like I'm not, or maybe I'm discerning, or just kind of to brush it off. But then when you're alone and all of that comes together, it takes over, and it's so hard to kind of just throw it away or push it to the back of your mind after a while or after a long time. And especially discerning and dating at the same time, it's very difficult. And I think if you are doing that, you should definitely cut one off, whether it's discernment of the priesthood or dating, because you can't serve two masters, right? You need to give your heart fully to one or the other. And so after much prayer and after much discernment, my path, right now just led me towards the vocation of marriage, right? And away from the great vocation of being a priest, which I did feel the call to, and maybe it's quieter now. I'm not sure. I'm not in any vocation yet. I'm still, until you reach a vocation, you're always discerning, right?
Absolutely.
And so I'm still discerning in a sense, in a way. To those youth that might, going back to the original question of the dating advice, I think Father Johannes and Father Francis gave great advice, but and another aspect of it is that a priest told me is, when you're dating, never settle and give your heart to someone who wouldn't love it and protect it like Christ loves his church.
Wow.
Amen.
Christ would die for his church. Christ would sacrifice. Christ would, it's just, as long as you have that other person that loves you and can protect and hold your heart like Christ does his cross, that's how it goes. The priests are whispering. It's
They're
distracting.
whispering. Can you guys hear them? It is very vulnerable, and something that I was
Yeah.
always told from a very young age in my youth ministry. And I think it's something that we've maybe have gotten away from, the talks of vocations. And I'm so happy that you guys are with us
Absolutely.
this evening, because it's something that I think oftentimes gets a bad rep as something that's like of the past, or like, oh, I won't do that. Like, oh, like priests are like, I don't know, like I don't know if I could ever like give up all that, or I don't know if I could ever be that person. And what I was always told, like, again, in high school ministry, is that, like Kev was saying, until you are in the vocation, until you are married, until like that vocation, I guess, is final, that you should always be discerning, and it's something that you should always be open to. And back to what Father Johannes was saying about, like, when God's calling, he won't stop calling. And I think our duty as Catholics, as people of God, is to be open to that call, whatever that
Absolutely.
call may be, and to be actively always discerning, always listening to what God's will be for our lives. Because we may feel one thing right now, we're like, okay, I'm called to the vocation of marriage, I'm called to start a family, and that might shift and that might change. But if we're not open to hearing God's word on that, if we're not open to hearing where God is calling us, if we're shut out from even listening, if we shut down, then we can't hear him calling. Like
Absolutely.
if we put our phone on silent, I don't know, maybe I'm taking the metaphor too far. But if we put our phone on do not disturb, we're not going to hear it.
Amen.
And it's our choice. We are humans, and we have the choice, and it's a very powerful choice.
Yeah,
I knew
absolutely.
it.
Can I?
Sister Anna.
My immediate answer was, I say all that. No, yeah.
And can I add on to that? I think it's for any of you who are listening that are discerning what direction vocation you want to go at. There's no right or wrong one. You know, I think that's the
Absolutely.
beauty. There's not a vocation that's harder or easier than the other. You know, like what Anna was saying. You know, thinking of becoming a priest. Well, I don't know if I can give that up. I don't think I can give this up. But instead of that, thinking about what you're adding on. You know, think about the flip side. If you get married, if that vocation, you're giving up the rest of everyone else. You know, if, for example, for me, if I choose one woman to get married to, I'm saying no to the rest. You know, so that's giving up. That's also good. It takes that. I feel like vocation is a lot of sacrifice.
No, it's a sacrifice no matter what vocation you end up doing. It is important for us to discuss it as something that, like, we are all discerning our vocation, regardless of where we are on that journey.
Absolutely.
So we do have a couple more questions before we want to actually jump into some listener questions. So being a young priest yourselves, how do you suggest we make the faith more engaging to youth? Given that you're maybe a little closer in age to some of our youth or young adults as well.
I think we have to create alternatives to mass. Not saying as a replacement, but something, you know, oftentimes youth coming to mass, they don't know how mass is structured and they feel lost.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest challenge for us as Catholics, if you compare us to other small communities, is that we need places that create community. Places where the teenagers feel I can talk.
Yeah.
And this is something I think that is very important. So places like youth ministries, where you can get together, or having TSA services where they can be different formats, or also like things like you're doing, social media. I think it's very important. Use the things that they use. Go on TikTok, have a 10-second video about something about your faith. I think that's very important if you want to get engaged. But I think the most important thing is community, because being Christian and being Catholic is about being in communion. So you need a community. And oftentimes at Mass, when there are 600-700 people, it's kind of difficult for young people to feel that community.
Absolutely.
So just a little PSA, we are now officially signing Father Johannes as community coordinator for MDD Media.
Amen.
Red's like, yeah.
Comment down below if you would like to see Father Johannes as our community coordinator.
That'd be crazy.
We want to flip the question over to you, Father Francis. What is one way that we can make the faith or help the faith be more engaging to our youth and young adults?
Yeah, like what Father Johannes said, it's, you know, creating opportunities. I would just rephrase it as encounter, creating ways to encounter them. And in that encounter, whatever that is, whether it's social media, whether it's a liturgy, it's Mass, or a retreat, we have to show like our joy to the young people, and witnessing, really being ourselves and being witnesses to Christ, to who we commit to. I think the sad thing about our world today is that we don't show so much joy about what we're doing, whether you're a youth minister, whether you're a member or a priest. I see that there's a huge lack of witnessing and showing and sharing the joy that we have to one another. So just like what Pope Francis has been saying about sharing the joy to others. He even wrote an encyclical recently about the joy of the gospel, right? Evangelii Gaudium. We should really live up that joy that Christ shows us in the Gospels.
Absolutely. And one last question before we get into our listener questions, which will be rapid fire questions.
Definitely.
What is the church as an institution has gone through a lot, in years past and as of recently. What is one area that you think the church as an institution could improve as a whole?
Lady involvement.
Mm.
I think many people look at the church and they think, oh, it's an old man's club, especially when they think about Rome, when they think about the Vatican. And Pope Francis makes it very clear that he wants laity to be involved.
Yeah.
He wants synods to decide things and not just Rome deciding everything. And I think that would be a lot of people that I talk to, especially in Germany right now, they're very frustrated.
Yeah.
Because they give so much into the church, but then, they have that wonderful priest that lets them do that, and then all of a sudden the parish priest changes, and all of a sudden they're nothing because the new parish priest doesn't like the face or anything, and they're out. And I think that's not the way you should do things. I think really listen to the people, have lay people involved.
Yeah.
Like in Switzerland, there's even lay people that are the boss of a parish.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to hear those voices and to have them involved.
That's great.
I want to ask a question to you, Father Johannes. Like, how were you inspired as your mom, as a theologian, seeing a woman in the church who's obviously very strong in her faith and very educated in that way? How do you see that she inspired you to see what women can and should be doing in the church? And how is that influence and what you see the possibilities to be?
I think a lot, actually. My mom has always been close to the priests, but also I've seen my mom, she would never say, oh, it's the priest, I cannot say my opinion. She would always make her opinion heard. And she, I think it was through her that I understood how important lay involvement is. And she taught me so many things about theology that no priest ever showed me or taught me. So, and she showed me really how valuable women are and lay people are in the church. So she had huge impact of my theological thinking.
That's
awesome.
amazing. I love that.
Absolutely.
Father Francis,
Yeah, so I think what we can work on, one fundamental thing is Catholic education, I would say, because that's such a fundamental thing in every diocese. When I was in Mundelein Seminary in Illinois, I had classmates from Wichita, Kansas, classmates from Lincoln, Nebraska, and I was surprised to learn that, for instance, Lincoln, Nebraska is similar to our diocese as big. I think they also have 50 parishes.
Oh, wow.
And such a small, maybe one county diocese as well, but they had close to 100 seminarians. Annually they send seminarians to different seminaries. When we had only 10 at that time. And I asked them what were they doing, and the diocese, their bishop, gives Catholic education for free to all Catholics.
Wow.
And the diocese subsidizes that, but they require every Catholic to tithe. So it means that every Catholic are required to give their donation at a certain percentage of their salary, and that way whatever they have, they give Catholic education for free. And so it promotes vocation, it supports youth ministries. In fact, many of their college students would go to Joint Focus, where they have college students would go to Rome and to do encounters, retreats, and stuff like that.
Wow.
There's so much joy in the young people because they have experienced, that fundamental thing, which is Catholic education, which we try to provide as much as we can here through our faith formation, not necessarily those who are going to our private schools. But again, if we really work on that, I believe that's one of the best foundations we can build upon, seeds that we can plant in every parish.
Absolutely. Wow.
So on our Instagram, we actually posed a question to you guys. Give us any question you've always wanted to ask a priest. And you guys had lots of questions, which is amazing to see. We love you guys being involved. And so we're going to rapid fire hit these priests with the toughest questions you guys had for them and the questions you've always wanted to know. And so we're going to rapid fire, send them their way, and pray for them. All right, Kev, you can take it away with the first one.
So the first one is role of women in the church and women priests.
Or particularly, why aren't there women priests?
Yes.
Okay. So I answered the question because we've already talked about my mom. Women in the priests, I think, women in the church, I think it's very important that women have leadership roles. That is also something that Francis is really pushing. There are now bishop conferences in Germany, for instance. The bishop conference, one of the highest ranking persons in the Catholic Church in Germany is a woman. There are women in Switzerland that are the leaders of a parish. And I think there's still many, many options that we have where women can be involved and where women actually can have power. And women always had power, if you think about an abbess, the leader of a monastery. She was equal to a bishop. But yeah, obviously I think women should have more leadership role because the church without women cannot exist.
Absolutely.
Women are doing most of the work actually in the church, and I think that's why they should have a prominent role in the church. When it comes to women being priests, I think one of the reasons that we do not have that is just tradition. You know, at the time of Jesus, it would have been unthinkable for a woman to be a priest.
Yeah.
Because a woman at the time, she wasn't even allowed to have property. How should it have worked then to be a priest? And traditionally also one of the reasons is Jesus sent out the 12 disciples, which traditionally was interpreted as only being male. However, Jesus appeared to the women first, and he sent them and they proclaimed the message. So I think we should still keep on talking about it, but I just feel that the time has not come for female priests. But in Germany, if you take a look at it, we are having a synod where the lay people are discussing exactly this, and where we're talking about this. And I think this is something we should be doing. Keep on talking about it and not just say, okay, this is a non-issue.
Absolutely.
And just to add a little bit, while we're at that, while we're not yet there, let us not forget, our Blessed Mother Mary, how great she is, how significant she is, and how much impact she has in our life even today. She did not receive the same mission that the apostles have, did not receive the same priesthood as priests in generations and even today had, but it doesn't mean it diminished her role. She is still has a great impact in our lives every day, and which she doesn't need to have those titles, to have those missions that all these apostles and saints, priests, saints, bishops today, and all these titles that they have did not have to have those things in order to really have like her, a woman, to have an impact in our faith.
Absolutely. Okay, going on to the next question. Is marijuana in moderation a sin? Just an FYI, in California, it is treated as alcohol at this point. 21 and older, it is legal.
Yeah. I would not just classify marijuana. I'm familiar with the Catechism of the Catholic Church, and one statement there that classifies, drugs or something that is addictive. The practice of that, of course, it could lead to addiction, but I believe it's CCC 2291 that says that using it in moderation, or using it as therapeutic or for medical purposes does not constitute a grave offense. Again, if it's for therapeutic and medicinal purpose that it's being used, it does not constitute a grave offense. And just like any other things that we consume, food, alcohol, and any other things, we are always called to practice temperance. Anything in excess, more than what is enough, is always detrimental to not only our physical bodies, but also our mental state, our spiritual state.
Absolutely. Can we just shout out that he quoted CCC by the number? That was
pretty
very
impressive.
Indeed.
I kind of
I know.
looked it up earlier. Thank you. I want to be honest. Yeah.
Our next question is, what is your favorite form of prayer?
Oh,
Easy question.
Okay. My favorite form of prayer actually is Taizé songs. I don't know if you're familiar with the concept of Taizé.
Yeah.
It's they take one sentence of the Bible or of a saint, mostly of the Bible, and they repeat that in music. So Taizé was, for my vocation, a very important place, and I used to go there every year with teenagers. And that's sometimes what I do. I just sit down on the piano and I'm playing the music and I'm singing it and repeating it all over. One sentence: God is love. God is love, and God is love, and you sing that all the time. And this,
Wow.
for me, is one of the most beautiful forms of prayer.
Beautiful.
For me, it would be the Ignatian way, the daily examine, and putting myself in the scriptures, where I can find myself in the characters of the scriptures, whether next to Jesus or one of those present in the crowd. And I do that every day in the morning when I prepare for my homily. So I just put myself into the situation and the context of the gospel, and really find meaning into that in my in the context of my life. Thank you.
Yeah. And our spicy Q&A that we did when I was eating hot wings, that was my favorite form of prayer as well, as the examine. Go Jesuits. All right. Another question we have is, what's the hardest part about being a priest?
You want to go ahead?
Okay. I don't know that there's one thing. I think one of the hardest thing for me is that you have to follow where God wants you to be. So I ended up being in California, but I have no family here, no one. When I came here, I had no friends, I had no family, I had nothing here. Nevertheless, I felt that God is calling me to serve the people here, especially the Latino communities. That sometimes clashes with what you want. So I think this is hard. But at the same time, it's beautiful, because wherever I followed God's lead and wherever I felt that He's calling me, I always was happy. So it's that. But I think the other side is it's one of the most beautiful things of being a priest, but at the same time, one of the most difficult is that, and you're going through all the emotions that you can have as human beings. You're there when someone dies, and you're there, you're going through that emotion of losing someone, and just an hour later, you're celebrating baptism, you're celebrating life or marriage. And this switch, sometimes I find hard. Because which is also beautiful at the same time, but also hard, because in one day you go through so many emotions.
And to be emotionally present in each of those moments, and
Right.
fully present is
Right,
difficult.
and you have to be there. You cannot just say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm crying because you just came from a funeral." No, I mean the people that are, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have one, Father?
Yeah, so to me would be practicing what I preach. I think that's tough. And it gets me each time I would preach, I would give a talk. For instance, I would be thinking of upgrading to the new iPhone, for instance, every 2 years, and preparing for my homily about how materialism can corrupt us, right? So, and all those things, not just that. It's about love for our parents, talking about those things. When I forgot to call my mom today, or I forgot to pray for my mom today, or my siblings. So it's really tough to practice what we preach, but we're always called to humility, and also generosity, to even sacrifice for the sake of God's kingdom, even if it means you're going out of your comfort zones.
That's beautiful. And last two questions, and we'll wrap up. How should a volunteer, not saying that this is any of us,
Yeah, it sounds like it's us.
how should a volunteer or staff member approach working with a difficult priest at their parish?
Thank you. I think first of all, I would try to talk to him, and explain myself to him in a way that is not offending, but just to stay with the I and not with the you. You are doing. No, I'm feeling. This is how I feel when you're doing this and that. If that doesn't help, I would ask one of the other priests, would talk to them and would ask for help. And if that really doesn't work, then I would follow the structure of the church and would go to the bishop. But I think it's good to follow Jesus' advice to, first talk to the person,
Yes.
then have someone else. And if that doesn't work, broaden it up and have more people
Absolutely.
help
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
Great answer. Okay, last question is, do you remember what people have said in confession?
I'm grateful that God gives me the grace of amnesia because, at some moments I don't have much experience. I've only been a priest for 2.5 or close to 3 years, but really to me it's a grace that I forget things, which sometimes I'm shocked because I like memorizing things and names and things that I study, but when it comes to confession, at that moment when I'm listening to confession, in my heart it's like my heart is crushing as well, and I'm asking the Lord, why did this happen? Especially people who sometimes you would recognize, but again with the grace that the Lord gives, you will see them weeks after or even the next day, and you would not even feel like you have judged this person because. That's how powerful the sacrament is. I think the sacrament of reconciliation does not only bring grace to that person who was forgiven, but also to the priest,
Wow.
to the minister.
That's awesome.
So,
I never really thought of that.
thanks be to God.
Wow.
All right, so we're going to conclude one last segment. We always ask our guests one deep question. There's a site. It's 200 deep questions. These are not necessarily religious or spiritual. They're just 200 deep questions. So I want each of you to give us a number between 1 and 200, and we'll ask you the question.
Okay.
Your favorite number?
150?
150. All right, Kev. And they do get deeper the higher the number.
No.
Okay. Number.
Me too.
Oh my God.
Oh. Yeah, I think we should. Yeah.
Well, I know kind of okay. So the question 150, and like I said, this isn't a religious site or anything like that, is what do you think there was, or what do you think was there before the universe came into creation?
Wow. God, I would say. There was only God. There
Amen.
was nothing else but God.
Great. That's awesome. Father Phantom?
All right.
Give us a number.
I'll go for 9. It's my favorite number.
He really said, let's make it easy.
Let's take it easy.
Oh, okay. This is a great question. What makes you feel accomplished?
Oh, good. Many things, but I think the most would be seeing people I ministered to in their difficult time and then seeing them the next time. I feel so accomplished that even though we had even people who complained about me, for instance, who questioned my homily, and after that we go through exchanges of emails about the scriptures, about maybe what I said wrong or what I said that was not inappropriate, but probably something sensitive. And even people who I feel like I'm having a hard time with, but after a dialogue, after some moments of conversation, seeing them the next time, you feel like your friendship with them, gets deeper and deeper. And I feel like, I've done my job, and whether you ministered to them, whether you also had difficulties with them. So
Oh,
Thank you.
that's awesome.
Awesome. Well, we want to thank you guys for being on our podcast and graciously sharing your guys' stories and being vulnerable with us and really opening up the conversation of vocation wherever we may be on our vocation journey.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And please know that, we're our whole community of Modern Day Disciples will be praying for you in your ministries here at St. Catherine's and at St. Mary's. And please continue to pray for us in our ministry and all the youth and young adults of our diocese. Yeah.
Absolutely. We normally ask our guests if they have any social medias that our listeners can follow them on, connect with them on if they'd like. Do you guys have anything like that in which people can reach you? Or
So Francis just said we should follow what we preach, right? I said, being a church that is on social media, but no, I am on Facebook, but it's not something that I just follow and where I put a lot of stuff about.
That's fair.
You can follow our parish's
Yeah.
Instagram.
yeah, we will link their parish's Instagram in the description below.
Thank you for tuning into our podcast. This has been Modern Day Disciples.
Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow us on Instagram at MDD Podcast. You could also follow us on Twitter at MDD Pod. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel at MDD Media. Make sure to like and comment.
Remember to smash that bell so you know whenever we post new material. Happy Sunday.
And get your booty
to church. Bye.
Are you still there?
I think they are.
Hello.
Are you guys still there?
Oh.
Hello. We're here.
Hello?
Oh.
Bye.